Survival from the Fall. Basically, I'm here to talk to you about what's happening in the world because we're all really quite aware that things aren't right. There's no two ways about it. In fact, things could get really bad really quick, and there's not a lot we could do about it. So, me personally, I'm not necessarily a survivalist, but I would be considered such as because I've prepared completely for this, and there's not much I don't have to be able to survive for many years in the wilderness if I need to. In fact, I've considered the best possible place you could be. There's a possibility of nuclear war, Russia, China, Iran. Everybody's kind of a little not happy with us right now. So basically, do you have a plan that's gonna be able to save you? I mean, you can't go to a shelter like a government shelter without still being in the middle of the mix, in the middle of the struggles that are gonna happen when this takes place. We're already seeing food disappearing from the shelves, the cost of everything's going up. They're going to double the taxes here in California. I'm currently living in the mountains, the Sierra Nevada mountains, pretty far up, about 6,000 feet. Really, it just keeps us in a safe place where not many people come up here. We're from the Bay Area. We spent a lot of years in the Bay Area. We make music and videos, and it's been quite a change to come up here and realize that people really do have a different attitude up here, and survival's probably a lot easier for them because it is sort of survival when you're up here. I mean, in the city you don't wander around at night out in the dark because you know you might get mugged. Up here you might get eaten by a bear or a mountain lion or something else. So yes, we definitely brought ourselves up here to get away from everything, but at the same time I've continued to formulate a plan, and that plan's going to go from A, B, C, D, E, and everybody says, well, why don't you just go to plan B? Well, what if plan B falls through? That's not going to work for me. I have at least 6 months of food. We try to go all organic. We're vegetarian, me and my wife. We basically have everything we would need to just bug out at any time. We have an RV that's totally set up and ready to go, but we have tents, we have motorcycles, we have quads, we have everything that you would need to be able to survive in the wilderness, including, you know, a really deluxe tent, reels that fish for you at night. They have springs inside of them that wind up, so you just put your bait on and you pull out your line, and this reel will basically catch the fish and reel it up. The next day you go there and you have a fish. If this comes to like we don't have any food, things are just going to get worse and worse. If people are coming around kicking in doors, if we happen to get invaded, what if they drop bombs? I mean, so there's kind of a real wide spectrum of possibility of what can happen. So the best thing to do is to, number one, formulate that plan. That plan's going to begin with important things like, I wouldn't say go be gun happy and all that. Me personally, I don't mess with guns. I've never really been happy around guns, and they're just not my thing. I believe they're really handy, but there's also a lot of other things in life that can be a lot handier actually, because everybody has guns and not everybody thinks the way I do, and the way I think is really a lot different than the way most people think. As you can tell by looking around me, this is not your ordinary standard studio, you know. So definitely not Jesse Waters or Gut Filled. This is not Bonjingo. This has definitely come from a different direction, okay, as in I'm willing to and more than happy to share with everybody everything it's going to take for you to be able to survive with your family in the wilderness as long as you need to, no matter what happens, even if there's a nuclear war. And the only thing that's going to save you from that is hopefully having a place underground. I've always found that really unique, and I just love being able to see another side of the earth that we don't see normally all the time. So underground, what I had no idea was I had gone in one cave called the Black Chasm. Maybe I shouldn't say it. On one of my experiences caving, there was a guided cave tour, and actually the cave had just opened up. It was me and my wife, and basically we went in for the tour and went in and checked out the cave, and the guy was really nice, and it wasn't like a regular tour, you know, they try to, you know, play, hey, there's Darth Vader and Santa Claus and all that. No, he didn't do that. He just told us really that this place is taken away from a gravel company that was going to just destroy the cave and turn it into gravel, because money seems to be the main cause and reason for pretty much the demise of what's going on right now with this country. Not only this country, this planet, they're all following suit. So while we were inside this cave, the guy was walking us through, he said that basically what happened was he was in the cave during the Loma Prieta earthquake, and when he was inside of this cave, he had no idea, none whatsoever. He was probably 100 feet in, but believe it or not, when you're 10 to 20 feet underground, you feel nothing. As in, you'll come outside and see that there's been a huge earthquake and you won't feel it. You won't even know it. It's like being inside of a glass of water. The surface of the water itself is going to be moving, but you're not going to feel it. If you're in the ocean diving, yeah, you might feel like you're in a washing machine. It's a little different. So basically, when you're underground, you're protected from radiation. Well, bad seed people are going to be everywhere out there. Everybody needs to be able to survive, and they're going to get desperate. Desperate people don't make for a good situation, and we have a lot of extra people in this country right now that think a lot differently than us Americans do, and their survival is basically the utmost number one. Our happiness is probably our number one. They have a different way of looking at everything, so we have to change the way we look at everything. And I don't believe many people are preparing completely. I know there's a few out there that have bought kits of food that, you know, last your family a month or more, but unless you have a book that shows native species of edible plants that you can cook yourself, and you have an igniter for your fire, which is a striker bar, many different ways, and using, you know, wax covered tinder, having a lot of candles, having rope, having paracord, having machetes, I have a pellet gun that basically goes almost a mile a second. It's just a 22 caliber, and they allow 16-year-old kids to have them. But basically, what you need to do is be able to protect yourself in all situations. And like I say, I'm not saying guns are the way to go, because they've never once been my main protection factor in my world. I have 8 cameras running at all times. 4 of them are Retina ID that totally identifies any individuals that come within basically 100 feet of my property. I can see at night a good solid 100 feet, 200 feet away from my place. I can see in 8 different directions at all times. That's like looking out 8 windows. Yeah, it's a little hard to do. Not for me. Okay, this is part of what I would recommend highly. You can't afford security to be sitting out there all the time, but it'd be really nice to know when somebody's coming. Then you can hit your panic button on your car, make your car alarm go off. You could have a siren, go buy a siren, a 12-volt battery, keep it on a charger, and you can hit a button anytime and have that siren go off. That'll scare whoever. They also have what are called Valkyrie, and they're just CO2 canisters that explode a plastic container. They're not dangerous, they don't do any harm, but they're very loud. They're about 120 to 130 decibels. And that's enough to cause ear pain, severe ear pain, and really scare anybody quite a bit, and hopefully get them on their way away from your house instead of coming in your front door, which is happening all around us. And obviously, we all know that crime is taking place during the day, anywhere, anytime. And when you're out driving your car, if you're driving a nice, shiny new car, you're taking a risk of they want those kind of cars. They've never had those kind of cars. They're not used to it. If you're driving something old and ratty, chances are they're not going to come after you. If you have a bunch of jewelry hanging off you, yeah, they're probably going to come after you. I'm not saying being paranoid is really the way to survive, but being cautious and being able to create a plan that's going to protect you and your family. And most importantly, you just need to realize that right now we're on just we don't know what's going to happen next. It's such an unsettled ground that we're standing on right now. We really have no idea what's coming down the road for us. So what we would need to do is step forward and take these plans and put them in action and make sure that they're available to us, so we can all, and you and everybody in your family, all be able to connect and immediately bug out, because we might lose our phones, we might lose our internet. So I mean, you'll want a world radio, you'll want a generator type radio, you'll want a solar panel, you'll want backup batteries. They have backup battery units with inverters built in. I can show you, I have like an inverter back here that's 4,000 watts that I can jam onto batteries anytime. I can take an alternator out of a car. I can take that, hook it to a propeller from a boat, and basically off of a stream be able to charge my battery 24 hours a day, as long as that water doesn't dry up or freeze. You can run solar, of course, and that works great during the day. That's something takes a little bit more upkeep than hydroelectric. There's generators, of course, make a little bit of noise, and yeah, you got to deal with that part of it. That's the same thing with guns. If you have guns, you're going to make a lot of noise. People are going to hear you. If you're working with a crossbow or a compound bow or an air rifle, you don't have to worry about that. I'm not saying, you're trying to kill people, but yeah, basically you're trying to protect yourself and your family, and that's really an important thing right now. And what I highly stress to everyone is to take these steps to create these plans, formulate a series of plans that are going to be able to keep you and your family safe, because believe me, things are not getting any better. They're not going to get any better soon. It might be years, it might be even longer, it may never get better. And the last thing you want to do is be left unprepared. So I'm going to be creating a series of videos that are basically going to show you the many different ways you can protect yourself. The things that you can protect yourself with are quite available. Guns, they're really hard to get. You can and help you get a list and get a way to protect your family and feel safe in what's probably the worst possible period of my life. Yeah, I'm personally getting old enough now to where, yeah, I don't want to worry about the rest of my life being like some horrific disaster is going to take us all out, or we don't know. We really don't know. There's, too many things going on right now, too many people to listen to, and everything you see and hear, can you really believe it, or should you try it for yourself, make sure it works, things like that. If you see something with your own eyes, it's much more believable than if you're just like watching it on TV, because everything on TV can be, well, obviously faked, and that's what Hollywood is. Television, video, what we all enjoy. I enjoy, definitely. Feel free to check back. We will be uploading videos weekly and helping you basically prepare for what could be the survival of the fittest as it comes down to what's going on with the world. You can blame anybody you want. This is the age of Aquarius. In the Old Testament, Jesus said, I will be with you to the end of the age. The end of that age was the beginning of the age of Aquarius. So I'm not saying that Jesus is not going to be there to help you, but things have really gone dark. Things have really gone bad. Everybody is pretty much completely losing it. You don't want to drive down the road and give somebody the bird because they might start shooting at you. You don't really want to be driving down the road in a Corvette unless you got a gun in your lap, ready to deal with whoever's going to come try to steal your car. Personally, I drive a 96 Toyota that's four-wheel drive that'll go anywhere, anytime, and that's what's critical to me. But I also like to go out on motorcycles, quads, any kind of action, snowboarding, you name it, we're into it. Outdoor, definitely. Action, adventure, and that's what I make my series, and our music is so one of a kind and unique. I can't even really tell you. It's a dream step music that is really a unique experience. I recommend everybody just take a listen, see what you think. Thank you for joining us on our podcast, and we really want to help everybody prepare for what possibly could be coming down the road. And I'm not talking about this isn't going to cost a fortune for you to prepare for this, but the more you prepare, the better you're going to be when that bad situation happens, and that bad situation will happen. I guarantee it's already happening. Slowly but surely it's getting worse and worse. And what everybody's doing to prepare, I have no idea. I heat my house completely on nothing but electricity. I don't have propane. I don't run my fireplace. I only use electric heat, but I use oil heaters and I use fans to blow air through oil heaters, and for less than 2,000 watts I can heat a 2,000 square foot home, which is pretty good because it's solid 70, 75 degrees in here when it's down to 20 degrees outside. And that's kind of important, but you might not have that in the outdoors. So you gotta have sleeping bags that are down to 30 degrees and below, rated sleeping bags, mummy bags. You gotta have everything it's gonna take for you to survive. And I wanna help with that. I wanna help you do everything it's gonna take to prepare yourself and prepare your family for what isn't really gonna get better soon, especially. I don't know what to say. I really just kind of disappointed about the way the government is letting things sort of fall apart around us. And, well, I guess we don't have a choice except for to prepare. Make sure and check back, see more videos. Thanks for joining us, and subscribe. Thanks.